Hey everybody, so it's first thing in the morning, and the reason I'm doing such a crazy close-up is because you're not going to believe how I wake up in the morning. My hair, so I'm part Puerto Rican, Colombian, Italian, Spaniard, a little Irish, I think like 5% African American. Like there's a lot of heritage and different places all around the world that made me. and so when I wake up in the morning, this is what my hair looks like. Yeah, it's crazy kinky curl. It comes out like this every morning. This is what I deal with every single morning. All this crazy curly hair. That's why I'm always with a ponytail. Because over time, after some time, this hair with humidity, moisture, just recurls back up if I don't straighten my hair. And that's why I brush it back and use a lot of hair gel. We're gonna go from this to that's what I have to deal with every morning. And so that's my morning routine. I have to brush all that down and to get it to look the way it does now. Yep. So there you go. That's what I look like in the morning. It's pretty crazy. And my hair wakes up every morning like that, just all over the place. And it's been like that since I was real little. If you look at my childhood photos, wow. I I had like the biggest kinkiest curls, and they were all over the place when I was a little baby. It was just like I looked like Curly Sue. It was just wow. Or that girl from like Annie, Little Orphan Annie, with just tight curls all the way around. It was like that, just brown, not red. And wow. So it's yeah. And I'm still dealing with all my tics, just due to the fact that I don't have my medication. My doctor office still hasn't sent my records over to another doctor to get reviewed so they can pass my medication through. Next week Friday will make 2 whole weeks of me not having any medication at all, that's prescribed by my psychiatrist. I still have my leftover from my neurologist, and I was lucky enough to get like 2 of these before my prescription ran out with my neurologist. So I have I got backups. But it's dealing with this backlash if I don't take my medication on time. Yesterday I messed up and I didn't take my medication at 6 like I was supposed to, and I took it very close to almost like 9-10 o'clock at night. So I'm doing wow. When you don't take it on time, regardless if you take it or not, you have backlash of wow. You have a backlash of sorry, of of your tics happening. And to answer another question that I totally forgot to answer a while back. It's I'm sorry. It basically has to do with why don't I take my emergency inhaler when my tics are active? Okay, so here's how it works. I have tried taking my active I have I have taken my inhaler during times where I have active tics, active Tourette's, and it found out that it doesn't work. Whoa, it doesn't work unless it's like a complete, whoa, unless it's a complete huge tick attack. And that means I'm lost control over everything. My breathing, my brain is in a complete scramble because everything's just completely malfunctioning. So, whoa, well, that's the reason why I don't even bother to use my emergency inhaler when I'm having an active day of tics, because it's very expensive and I just feel like I'm wasting my medicine when I use it and it doesn't do anything to help counteract when I'm having an attack. So unless it's an attack, it doesn't work for me, and I need to make sure that it's an attack so I don't go wasting my product to try to help me get out of it. So basically, yeah, it's sorry, it's wow, it's very expensive medication that I just don't want to waste. So that's the reason why I don't always you don't always see me taking my emergency inhaler, especially that I used to take that mostly when I didn't have risperidone, or or it was in the weaker stages of me taking risperidone, to where it just wasn't working well. For me now, wow, it's sorry, it's sorry, it's it's like counteracting medications with each other that might not work with one another, depending on how the strength of one medication to another. I found out that medical marijuana does have some type of reaction with risperidone, and basically it's these little ticks that I can't control, that sometimes happen. They said it's due to me taking medical marijuana, but I have to take medical marijuana because of my severe spinal stenosis and herniated discs that I have in my back and my neck. Wow. So when my pain is aggravated and I feel a lot of discomfort, my Tourette's is going to act up really bad. So either way you look at it, me taking medical marijuana helps with so many other things that it's worth even dealing with that slight counteracting with the risperidone, because without it, I know it would still be so much worse, because I have tried risperidone without medical marijuana, and it didn't work out that great because I was feeling all the pain where risperidone doesn't help me with my back pains. And and I have and I get muscle spasms really bad due to the back pain, but also it's not just the back pain, it's the fact that I have, so our bones are cushioned, right? And we have like a jelly fill right in between the center of our bones. So I'm going to use my nail as the jelly fill, right? Well, basically over a period of time, as you get older, that jelly fill starts to kind of slowly wear out until it gets so paper thin that the bone is barely there. Well, what happens is this is what's called a disc. So this is the disc, and when it becomes herniated, it means that a little bit sticking out of where that bone is, and it's protruding because it's being smashed down so hard. Now when it's completely herniated, this is would be considered a bulging disc right at this point. And then when it's herniated, it means it popped, and the jelly filling that was once there is now completely going away, to a point where there's no jelly filling. So now my body is trying to compensate for missing that by creating little spurs. Spurs are like extra bone fragments that you're basically growing to try to help separate the bones from each other. So these spurs will stick out like this, and like this, and like this. And those little spurs, sometimes when they're created trying to push up and move away from the other bone, all these bones in the center of our spine has a whole bunch of little let's say these are my collecting lines of my nerve endings. Well, when those spurs start to stick out and the other bone is there and the nerve ending is in between, see, now this is the nerve ending, what happens is this spur sometimes can pinch that nerve, because it's sticking out to try to separate it. And instead of it helping to separate, it's hitting a nerve ending and it's pinching it. That nerve ending can control, the grip to my hand, my hands, my fingers, the feeling to my fingers. If you've ever had your leg fall asleep on you, and this is a really great example, if you've ever had your leg fall asleep on you, basically the pins and needle feeling that you get is the way I feel on a regular basis, because my nerve endings are getting pinched and the feeling to my hands and my fingers are no longer there, and they just get, it just replaces with a numbing, painful, tingling pins and needles feeling. So it's really intense. It hurts like hell. And it also causes muscle spasms, and my muscle spasms are really bad because it feels like, when you get a muscle spasm, it's the most accurate way that I can recreate the feeling of a muscle spasm is if you take a very sharp object like a fucking ice pick and you stab somebody in their fucking back. That's what my muscle spasms feels like. It feels like somebody is stabbing me in my lungs. It feels like somebody's stabbing me in my kidneys. It feels like somebody's stabbing me right in my back. Sometimes it feels like somebody's stabbing me in the back of my neck. Yeah, I'm fighting off that temptation because I know this other YouTuber, she hits the back of her neck. My body's trying to do it and I'm trying to stop myself. Sorry. Restraining myself from doing that. So basically, well, I had to say something. I knew I had to hit something. Okay, anyways, so that's basically what happens with me, and why medical marijuana, for me, it's an anti-inflammatory on top of it being a severe painkiller. When I don't feel the pain of these things happening to me, it prevents me from having to go through those emotions and those feelings. It basically numbs out the senses in my brain to a point where it's like it's feeding me endorphins rather than feeding me pain. So that's how it's that's how it's helping me to cope with all this. So I hope that gives you guys a little bit more insight into me and some things that I have to deal with on a daily basis, starting out with my busted hair every morning, and then also having to discuss a little bit about my Tourette's, and so that's what's going on with me. I hope this video finds you guys well. I hope everybody's having a wonderful I hope everybody's having I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. And I hope that this gives you a little insight on me, and as well as hopefully educates others about my particular condition, because once again, not everybody has spinal stenosis or herniated discs, mixing in with their ADHD and their Tourette's and their sensory issues, which I have sensory issues. On top of that, I also if you haven't heard and throughout any of my other videos, I also suffer with depression, anxiety, social anxiety. I deal with PTSD because I've had a lot of shit happen to me in the past, and I prefer not to talk about it just because it brings everything back to and I basically feel like I'm reliving it. So I try not to discuss those things. Maybe one day when I get a little bit calmer, hopefully I can explain some of these things that happen to me. But in the meantime, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm gonna cut it because it's already going on close to home. We're on 14 minutes, going on 15. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Goodbye and take it easy. Till next time. Bye.